welcome to the Lone Machinist podcast, the podcast where it's just you, your tools, and the work. No team, no backup. I'm Jamie from JSpec Engineering, and every episode we're tackling the highs and lows of flying solo in the machining world.
And I'm Curt from Confounded Machine, here to chat about everything it takes to make it as a one-man show in the shop. From grinding and turning to the struggles of running a one-person operation, we're sharing the stories, the tricks, and the challenges that come with going it alone.
If you're out there in the shop grinding away by yourself, or just thinking about taking a solo plunge, this show's for you.
So throw in your ear protection and let's talk about life behind the machine.
Good morning, Curt, and good evening, Joshua.
Good evening, Jamie, and good evening, Joshua. You might have to just click your unmute button so you can
you're going to have to unmute
chat
yourself,
with us.
Joshua.
Good evening, good morning. I'll pretend I didn't just have to unmute myself.
Yeah. So, this being our 20th episode, it's a guest episode, and this time around we've got Joshua. Joshua, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, yeah, I'm Joshua from Firmworks Limited, and maker of the Firm Vice, hopefully coming to you very soon, and that's me.
Okay.
Nice. Well, yeah. Thank you so much for coming on. It's always fun chatting with people, and I don't know. Jamie turned me onto your vices. They look super cool, and I don't know. It's interesting to hear someone's story, and it sounds like you've been kind of doing this thing for a while. So yeah, totally curious to see how you've made your way this far.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I'm a keen listener, so excited to come on.
Yeah. You listen to our ramblings every
also,
week.
Yeah. Before we get too far into it, do you prefer Josh or Joshua?
Josh is fine. Joshua is also fine. Either whatever you prefer. Most people just call me Josh. So
okay.
Yeah.
Josh, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. How did you get into it?
Lead the way, Jamie.
As in, how did I get into machining, or how far back do you want to go?
That's always interesting.
I'll give
how people get into machining.
Yeah, like a quick background. So previously, I'm totally inexperienced in sort of mechanics or anything like that. I wasn't that way inclined. I was going into IT. I was more of a sort of gamer growing up, sort of thing. And but I fell into machining. Did a machining apprenticeship. Mechanical engineering apprenticeship. That was at the Laboratory of Molecular Biology in Cambridge, and I was there for 3 years. Did a really cool apprenticeship. Sort of learned hand fitting techniques, filing, sawing, then onto manual machines, then finally onto the CNC machines, and had really good proper old school apprenticeship there. Then I had my first child, so I had to go get some go find some money. So I left there, went to a production machine shop. Sort of did mostly turning there and a little bit of milling. That's where I really learned. I call that going into the real world of sort of machining and really the workplace actually, and sort of learned some good experience there. But then I was there for just under a year, and then found a job as a chief technician at the Whittle Laboratory, which is for Cambridge University, doing aerospace research. That was a really cool job. Got onto 5-axis machining, got to do all kinds of cool rig work and assembly, and it was massive, big, 10, 12-inch pipe work sometimes on big aerospace rigs. Then sometimes it was tiny little probes, and doing lots of hand work and soldering and stuff like that. So yeah, that was really good. And then from out of there is where I started Firmworks. Started doing a bit of work on the side out of that workshop. And then I designed the Firm Vice when I was there as well. And then went on my own as a job shop. And then that was sort of coming up for 5 years ago now that I started the business. So yeah, it's been a good ride, a bit of a bumpy ride at times, but we're still here. So
That's cool. So did you slowly transition to doing your own thing, or did you kind of have to just jump ship and go, or like how did you go about that?
It was interesting because it was during the lockdown that I actually bought my first machine. So it was May 2020. I was on a salary position, but we'd been given like 6 months off full pay during the COVID lockdown. So sort of 2 months in, I was, getting not, I wouldn't say bored, but I was just sort of looking for opportunities, and then ended up buying a machine, finding a space to put it in, and then because I'd already been doing work out of that workshop, and because it was the lockdown, I couldn't use that my employer's workshop anymore, because I was allowed. I did go in to make some ventilator parts to help out during the lockdowns, but other than that, it was just totally off limits. So it was either just right to tell my customers at the time, right, I can't do anything anymore, or I could buy a machine and go for it, or at least try to do it on the side, which was always how I started it off. But initially when I bought my first machine, I could afford the rent, and everything out of my if all went wrong, and I wasn't making any money out of the business, my salary could afford the rent at least, and everything else that was the bare minimum. So then I just started sort of building it up from there, and then it was about 6 months after I'd bought the machine, or maybe it might have been 6 to 9 months, that I started going part-time. Asked to go down to, I think I did, I don't know if I went straight to 3 days a week, but then I tapered off over the next sort of 6 months, and then went full-time. So that was about 4 years ago now. Yeah, so it was sort of a year after I started the business that I went full-time with it.
That's cool. That's nice that you had the running room during the lockdown to like kind of pursue it a bit while still having salary behind you. Like that's a nice lucky spot to be in.
I felt sort of guilty because I didn't tell my employer that I bought the machine at first, because I didn't know how they were going to take it, and in the end, it was just really supportive. And my old boss, he was sort of a legendary boss. He sort of let us get on with it. It was really good. But he sort of said, I could see that you're always going to either leave to go somewhere else, and you weren't going to be happy here just twiddling your thumbs and sort of taking it easy. Because in academia, in research, it's really like it's not the real world. It really is like timelines and stuff like that. They're sort of all made up, and you can rush a project, get it done for someone, then it sits on a desk for like 6 months, year. It might never get used, but that's just sort of it's different to like the real world, where like you've got to deliver your pens. Jamie's got to deliver his anchor point. I've got to deliver my vices and my customer products. Like it's a bit different to sort of research. So. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So you mentioned you do job shop work. So what is your percentage split between your own product and your job shop work? Is it?
But at the moment, I'd say it's 100% job shop, and then on the side, I have sold these pre-order devices, which are behind me now. Last step they've got to do now, and plus some extra jaws that I've got, is to go off a black oxide. But I've actually been doing a lot of research this week, and I wanted to ask you boys, maybe you could have some advice on finishing the tool steel components, basically, because I've looked at black oxide. I'm worried this is going to not come back like a consistent finish. I've looked at plating potentially, but obviously you've got the thickness of the plating to worry about. So that's the next step of that, really. But my main sort of my daily thing of what I'm doing with my customers, I've got mainly local customers, but I do ship some parts up and down the country as well. But some of it is prototype work, which is a lot of stainless steel and stuff like that. Sometimes some Inconel and stuff like that from one local customer. Another customer is loads of turning work. It's a lot of shafts, long shafts, and sort of mild steel and some small plastic parts and stuff like that. And then I'd say another mix of work I get is sort of motorsport, aftermarket motorsport components. And then I have some customers that dip in and out, and then I've always just sort of looking for always the hardest thing is finding work, and keeping customers, but also managing, being a solo. You know what it's like being by yourself, getting work in while doing the work, managing everything. It's always a juggle. So I always find I get really busy because I've been quiet and I've been finding work, and then when I'm busy doing the work, I haven't been looking for work, and I have quiet spells. So it's tricky.
Yeah, that tends to be
that was good.
the case with a lot of guys, where they tend to porpoise, where you're really busy and then you're quiet, so you go find a bunch of work, then you're really busy.
That is why people go for Xometry. I mean, that's all I hear is Xometry. And it's for that reason. It's because they don't want to go out and find the work and get it. It's because it is I'm not saying it's easy mode, but it is very convenient, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
No, it
Yeah.
definitely is. I don't know if you guys have seen the late. Well, I doubt you guys would have seen the latest from the Taps and Patience guys. So
I just started
AJ.
listening to it before. Yeah, I'd listened to about half hour of it before we
Okay.
come on here. So
Yeah,
yeah, I didn't get too far into it, but
that looks quite interesting. Basically, starting up a Xometry competitor.
right, I thought that's what it might be. That's an
Yeah,
interesting play. Yeah.
it's an interesting play. It's not gonna they're not gonna just let anyone on right now, but it's an interesting play because I think the guys are getting a bit fed up with Xometry, especially with them pushing the payment terms out to 40 days. Yeah, it's a bit scummy. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens there. But there's another episode 116, which is on early access at the moment, and I got a shout out at the end of that one, which was pretty sweet.
Nice.
Oh, that's
Because
cool.
I sent AJ a beta unit of the anchor points, and it arrived just
You
before
did.
he went to go
Nice.
do all his teaching things. It ended up at General Motors in one of his classes. He was using it as an example for quick change pallet stuff. I was like, that's
Very
fucking
good.
Cool.
sweet. Yeah, no, that's
It's a
really
good
fun.
example.
Yeah, works.
Yeah, so you're based, and I think that's a kind of a cool reference for, not cool reference, but interesting reference for the listeners. Is as far as I understand, like Xometry is a U.S. thing. Like we don't have access to that in Canada. Jamie, I'm sure you're not in that circle, and then Joshua, you're based out of England, so you're not in that circle either, correct?
No, but there is a Xometry UK and there is a Xometry Europe as well.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've never used them. So, oh, you're Xometry Europe, are you? Okay.
Yeah, I spoke to the guys at INTS, and I was told to get
Right.
hold of the Europe guys for it, and I'm like, I could not really be bothered. I have enough of my own dumb shit going on here.
Cool. So I was gonna ask your industry. Like I don't know if you can speak to it, but like what is it primarily centered around? You said some motorsport stuff, but like is there kind of like one over
A lot of
kind of area?
a lot of scientific research stuff. Unfortunately, I haven't broke into the aerospace research side of things because I'd love to do some work for the university and all of the sort of universities, but it's getting onto the order system, and yeah, that seems to be the stumbling block there. But no, I haven't pushed that too hard really, but yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So you said you started with one machine.
Mhm.
What was the first machine you started with?
Started with a 3-axis machine, which is it's behind the sign there, but it's
Nice,
XYZ
okay.
Mini Mill 560, which is it's a 3-axis machine. It's got a 10-position umbrella tool changer on it, BT40 spindle, had a 12,000 RPM, Siemens control, Siemens 810D, no probing unfortunately, but no, good little machine. Box weighs, so it's rigid things, 20 meters a minute rapids on it. But no, it was a good starter machine, solid machine. The reason why I bought that was because the 5-axis machine, or the first 5-axis machine I ran, was one of these exact machines, except with an 8,000 RPM spindle on it, but with a Nikon 5-axis trunnion on it. And I'd repaired the machine quite a lot. Well, I say repaired it, kept it going, just sort of air leaks and stuff like that. But nothing major had gone wrong on the machine, so I was quite confident. I wasn't confident on working on machines at the time as much as I am now. So I wanted something I was familiar with, and then I found one of those for sale during the lockdown. Paid way more than I should have. Looking back now, being inexperienced, sort of. But yeah, got it, and then off we went. But
Cool,
originally, when that time, I was doing a lot of jet ski parts, aftermarket jet ski parts, which is sort of originally what I really wanted to do. I wanted to do work holding and jet ski parts. I wanted to do both of them, and sort of really that wanted to be my two niches, if you know what I mean. But
right.
I sort of got away from the jet skiing industry just because I don't have a jet ski anymore. So I used to do competitive freestyle, so doing backflips and all that kind of stuff on a stand-up one.
Nice.
But yeah, I made a lot of the aftermarket parts for my competition ski, and I wanted to sell those, but it didn't end up really working out. But yeah, it's and then other industries really, sort of general engineering really. A lot of it I don't actually know where it's going. It's I'm doing work through, not really a middleman, but for larger machine shops a lot of the time, because I'm focused on the lower quantity stuff. And they're more production setups. They kick some work my way. That's been a good source of work as well.
Oh, that's cool. Well, I can see the 1 mil behind you, but it looks like you have significantly more machines now. So what are you up to now?
Yes, so I've got that machine is so the XYZ Minimill 560, and then after that I did get another XYZ machine, but it was a 2-axis lathe, but not with a turret on it. It was a bit like a Haas TL tool room lathe. So it was with a quick change tool post on it. It was CNC obviously, but just 2-axis. Looking back, wrong machine to get. Didn't have a tool changer. I ended up putting a gang tooling setup on it and running a little bit of production on there, but I say production, 100 or so spacers and washers, really simple parts and stuff like that. But then I sold that and I bought, got an opportunity to buy this. It's in the over there. We've got a Hitachi Seiki. It's a HT20S 2-axis heavy-duty CNC lathe. So it's got a Yaznak LX3 control on it, which is basically like a green writing Fanuc style, or Fanuc, as you guys say. I don't know, how does Jamie say Fanuc?
It's Fanuc. Fanuc.
Oh, you're both. And Curt, are you Fanuc as well?
I'm waffles depending on the day. Yeah.
I always find that an interesting one. But so that's that was the first proper production turning center that I got. Heavy duty 2-axis lathe. It's got hydraulic tailstock on it. Had an 8-inch chuck on it, which I then destroyed actually at one point. Then I had a 10-inch chuck on it. That was too big. Gone back to an 8-inch chuck now, so all is well. And then after that, I got the big mill, which you can see just there. That is it's a Mitsubishi Meldus 520 AM control, and it's a Hartford 850 VMC. So it's basically a Taiwanese-made cheap. Well, that's what I thought actually, a cheaply made CNC mill. But got it in. It's got a 4th axis on it, but haven't been able to use that simultaneously. Although it has got nice servo Mitsubishi, same servo and encoder that are on the rest of the axes. So I don't know. I think it must be a parameter setting or something like that. Mm-hmm. But that is a full boxway machine, 8,000 RPM, BT40 spindle on that as well. But no, it is a beast, and it cuts accurately, and it's still flat and sounds great. So that was a really good buy, that machine. And that also allowed me to take on bigger work, because no matter what you do. So I bought the first machine I bought was a milling machine, and then all the work I needed was turning work. So obviously got a CNC lathe, got the wrong CNC lathe, then got the right CNC lathe, and then had that covered. And then all the work I was getting was bigger than what the mini mill could do. So ended up with a bigger mill. And then from then I've been able to cover quite a wide range of parts really. But then after that I also got this lathe here, which is another 2-axis CNC lathe. That's a Colchester CNC 350. And I haven't said the ages of any of these machines actually. I'm wondering if people can guess what sort of vintage these machines are. But yeah, that's all of them except for machine here, which are the last machine I got, which is a twin pallet horizontal machine center. It's got a BT30 spindle, 30 position chain, ATC on it. It's a beast, but currently it's just a dead machine at the moment because someone deleted the parameters out of it, and I am someone, but I have made some progress with it. I've managed to get the parameters back into it. But I still can't get it to release from e-stop state. So,
no.
Yeah, but that's the current state of play with the machines, really. Yeah.
Okay. Are you running all those by yourself?
Absolutely, it's all me. Everything is all me. That's it. The only help I've ever really had was my other half, my girlfriend, my fiance, I should say. She used to come in and help, but she's too inundated with our children now. So yeah. But other than that, it's only ever been me that run these machines. So it's me to blame for everything that's wrong and right.
Okay.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a full shop for sure. You got lots to play with.
Well, yes. The reason why
I think we
lost you there.
we muted you.
Yeah, why did you mute? I didn't mute him.
It might. Is that better?
Yeah, you're all good.
It might have been me. To be honest with you, I've moved my mouse away now. Sorry.
No sweat.
Where did you? Where was I?
I was just saying that's a lot of gear to run.
Yes, but that's what I was saying. I've got quite a few machines to have some redundancy, so like two two-axis lathes and two mills. You can, anything goes wrong, which has happened.
Yeah.
When you're down and you've got to get it up and running, it's hard. So having some redundancy. Hopefully they don't all go at once, although that has also happened. So. But there you go.
Yeah, I think redundancy is the main point. Like that's the one thing I'm freaked out about, having only one lathe. I'm like, if this goes down, like I'm fairly hosed until I get something new. And it depends in your area. It depends what you can get access to. It seems like you can. I'm assuming a lot of those machines were secondhand purchases.
All secondhand, yeah. My newest machine is a 2004 machine. So my oldest is a 1990, which is that Colchester lathe. So that's 3 years older than me.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a decent machine. It's got a collet chuck on there, nice clean. It's actually got dovetail wheels on the x-axis, but it is a slant bed CNC lathe, a hydraulic tailstock on it, FANUC control. Load it, I post straight from Fusion, run stuff on there, do bar pulling on there. I've done some cool stuff with that. So yeah, no, it's good. I like to try to do a bit more with the older machines because they are all quite capable. As soon as I figured out you could get Fusion with a post processor to run CAM on pretty much any machine, I was off to the races.
Oh, that's cool. I think that's kind of the hack that like maybe people don't understand is like some of these industrial machines you can buy for like dollars on the pound. You just have to have a place to put them, but like they can be very inexpensive and still extremely capable.
Yes. For example, this twin pallet horizontal machine there, I bricked it, but that get out of where it needed to get out from. So they said because it costs like $1,000 to get it, so £1,000 to get it from where it was, which is only an hour and a half away. And that was with that was doing it cheap actually. That was with us doing the moving on out of the building and lifted onto the lorry that side, and then lifted off this side as well. So and moved in ourselves as well. So, but if you're willing to do that, if you pay double that to move it, that's the cost of the machine basically. But yeah, so that is an older machine, but that is the nuts when it's running. That's my favourite one. So I'm gutted I've bricked it. I don't know if you can tell.
Oh, yeah.
So I assume that was running before you held the wrong buttons in.
Yeah, so the background on that that machine it's one owner from new. You'll laugh when I say this because it's run plastic all of its life. And, genuinely though, the company was called Carville Plastics, and they just machined. All they did was machine plastic, and I'm sure it had machined like the tombstone phase and stuff like that. But from what I was told and from what I can figure out, what was on the control as well, it's run one job like its whole life, and it was just running these manifolds on 2 tombstones on each face, and then running 4 sides, swapping the tombstones, and off it went. So it had been turned off for a month or so before we got it out, but then got it in, powered it on, and it was all good to go. Just had to learn how to use the control. The only problem I had with it, which is what I was actually trying to sort out, was there was a problem with the pallet changer logic. So when I first got the machine, I've never run a pallet changer, so I didn't really know what I was doing, but following the manual as you do, and or maybe you don't, I don't know, but I was making my way through it and got it to call up a pallet. Actually, what I did was I wanted it to just run the program that was already in there. So I was like, right, that's all you've ever done. Let's just let you just run it to prove what's going on. I'd done some tool changes through MDI and stuff like that. But so ran the program that was in there, and it swapped the pallets round, and then wouldn't run the pallet. It was giving me a logic alarm, a pallet AB judgment alarm. So basically telling me, I'm not expecting that pallet to be there. And then from that day on, I could never get it to swap back to the other pallet. Whenever I did a manual, no matter if I did it manually in MDI, no matter what I did, it would lift up the pallet, spin round, but do a full 360. So you ended up with the same pallet each time. And no matter what I did, I couldn't figure it out. I was checking, limit switches and it's all pneumatic, and had that all apart. I was looking everywhere, so I know the full construction of the machine now, but I still couldn't get that sorted. So I was like, right, the only thing it can be now is something in the parameters or the keep relay, something like that. And I think I was just trying to cancel the soft low travel alarms when I was resetting it, and so I powered on the control, and I'd run loads of jobs. I'd run 2 or 3 jobs through the machine. It'd been great, but only as a single pallet machine, so it was still running. But then I turned it on, holding reset and delete, and then that obviously clears the parameters. But there we go.
Yep.
No.
Did that to the Kitsamora where I used to work. Yeah.
But you said you got that running again.
Yeah, and I got that running. We had a backup. We had sister machines, so we had backups of their. I think I might have actually just pulled the parameters off the other machine. But I had it talking over, what's it, NC Lite or whatever it is. Over
that's
serial.
what I'm using.
Yeah, so
that's exactly. So that's what I've done so far. I've got the main parameters back in. The ladder seems to be there. I've got the full backup on a floppy, but I can't seem to. It's telling me there's over travel alarm on B positive and B minus. So I think there's still some parameters to be set for the pallet changer itself, but I don't know where they've got to go basically. So I have reached out to Roku, the manufacturers. Well, I originally reached out to White House Machine Tools, who serviced the machine where it was at the previous place. And they basically said, anyone who worked on that machine is now retired. We don't really know nothing about it. I was like, I know, but I also know that you've definitely got all the documentation that I need, because I've got printed out emails from, and actually some faxes, that's how old they were, of like instructions on how to recover the pallet changer and how to recover the tool changer. But they did send me a couple of the pages I was missing, but they basically said, we can't really help you. So I did reach out to Roku. I got an email back the other day, which is, it's been a few weeks, and I got an email back the other day, and I thought it was cool because they called me Joshua San, which I thought was cool. I like that. That's the Japanese way of doing things. So, so hopefully they're going to help me out. They have said they can, if not Fanuc local, I could get a local Fanuc tech to do it, which I probably is the case, but I just begrudge paying someone to load parameters in, which I know I can do myself if I just know where they've got to go. So we'll see. If I have to, I'll pay to get it sorted, because it's a nice machine, but I'm holding out for Roku at this point.
Yeah, well, I suppose if it's a machine that's just sitting and you're not currently pushing a bunch of work through it, whatever. But
100%. That is, that is, and if it was one of my other machines, I'd be worried, because they are, like I said, I'm running them every day. That was an extra machine that I got. Opportunity came up. Wasn't the greatest timing really, but I couldn't say no to it really. And then, if it is still running, it has already paid for itself. You know what I mean? The first few jobs it ran through paid for the getting it here. So, and so we'll see. We'll get there.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, a pallet change would be nice, especially being a single guy op, like just being able to really extend the runtime.
Set it up so I've got 0 point on each pallet, and I can swap in tombstones that are just firm vice components, and then smaller tombstones maybe. That way I can have all the stuff ready to go. Could be running overnight. That's this is a dream scenario,
right?
And or not dream scenario. This is long-term thinking scenario. I would like to make happen. Trying to reframe my thinking and wording there.
This is the goal scenario.
But that's yes, exactly. Yeah. So that's what I'd like to do with the machine. But we'll see. If I have a job come up that can just run production on it and always be set up for it, that'd be great too. So
yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
So you were wanting to chat about the coatings or lack thereof on the vices.
Yes, I don't know. To be honest with you, I've only ever sent parts out for anodizing at previous places and here. for some customers, and I've done a bit of DIY anodizing, but nowhere near as a good setup as what you had or have, Jamie.
Yeah, I hate
But
that
obviously these
process.
are P20 tool steel components, and they look beautiful. They're shiny, lovely, beautiful machines, and ground finish on them. But based on the prototype one, the latest prototype that I've been using, no matter how good it is, if it's in a machine, you're gonna get a bit of surface corrosion eventually. If you get
Yeah,
your mix off, if it's bare steel, it's gonna rust eventually. And me personally, I have rusty hands, so I will leave rusty fingerprints on anything I touch. So I want to. I've got some quotes for black oxide. I've got a supply lined up, which I'm about to send off next week. But just considering some other options maybe that I've looked at nickel plating, but I don't know. I think black oxide is the only thing that's going to not that's going to give it's not going to grow too much, obviously, because it
yeah.
is changing the layer rather than growing it. Well,
Is
that's what I've been told.
passivation's only for stainless? So it kind of looks weird though, like yellowish.
Yeah, I mean, I'd really like just a solid black finish would be great.
Yeah.
I'd love it if they could be green because that's my favourite colour. So I just love them to look green. And I've done a lot of research looking at how I could do that, but there's no powder coating or Cerakote or something like that. But
Yeah.
it's too thick a coating basically.
And
you could mask
don't
it off and do stuff like that. But
yeah, I was just gonna say, what about masking? But then you've got masking issues.
yeah, you're gonna have edges that flake, and
Yeah,
I think the like the Curt vices you get, I think them the castings, I don't know if they're painted or powder coated, but they tend to chip and flake off. Even
yeah.
on
My
real
China
Curt
vices,
vices.
the paint is gone now.
Yeah.
Yeah, less than
So,
ideal. So yeah, no, that's black oxide's probably your best bet there. Just hopefully it comes
yeah,
back uniform.
that's my worry. I mean,
Well, the other
I
option
don't
is
know.
to use
I have
gun
asked
glue,
them.
to hot glue it.
Yes, and I've done some parts. In fact, I've got a vice draw here that I made black. But again, I mean, this is pretty good to be fair, but this is just sat there on the side. It's a bit. I just
Yeah, if you
long
don't keep
term,
it
I
oiled,
know that.
if you don't keep it
Yeah,
oiled, it's gonna
because
rust.
exactly, yeah, it doesn't, and it's not. I think it's got to be a hot black oxide solution for it to be. I mean, I think if you wanted to, you could rub this off with your hand if you kept rubbing it, sort of thing. So,
Yeah,
I mean, it does work. It does make them black, but it's. I mean, you can't see very well in here, but it's a bit patchy on this bit here, and it's just.
yeah. It's
I'm not a
gluing
finisher, so I
stuff
don't
is
know.
super finicky. Like any oils or anything will make blotchiness. Like I've changed some of the parts I make for one of my customers. We make it out of stainless because it's literally cheaper than bluing it, just from a labor perspective.
Looking back, I think maybe I should have done that, and gone just stainless. But yeah,
That's got its own.
it's just harder for grinding them.
Yeah, like stainless has its own pros and cons. So, Curt just says everything out of titanium.
Yeah, that's my problem.
I've genuinely thought about what about a titanium vice base? Like, what would that look like? I mean, it'd look cool, but would it actually be hot or would it be too soft?
And what about going a route similar to the light vice from Fifth Axis, where you've got two hardened rails and green anodized body?
Yes, I've considered doing that, but I think I don't know. I just think if you're buying a vice, you don't want it to be aluminium. That's just what I think. That's just.
Well, I was considering doing something similar, but making it a pneumatic vice.
Oh, 100%. A pneumatic vice. I mean, I know Gimbal. I think he's
working on one
for a while, but that's definitely a gap there. With the cobalt load and everyone's going for, it's the way to go. That or hydraulic, but I think people will find pneumatic easier to integrate, don't they? So,
yeah, the issue with pneumatic is just your grip force. Like, you're never going to have the same grip force as even a small screw because you have such limited surface area on your pistons. Like, there's some shenanigans you can get to make it have a bit more force, but then you end up having this vase that's a freaking meter tall and 100 by 100 to have decent clamping force. Like I have some dodgy plans to get around that, where I'm not looking to hold the part down with friction. I'm going to taper my vice jaws so it holds it down. So it literally contacts at the top and forces the part down. Accuracy is not super critical on the specific part that I want to run like that, so that'll be fine. But it'll let me load and unload quickly.
As in you'll dovetail your parts, or
no, I'll literally my jaw will
just have a pull down knife edge sort of thing.
Well, I was going to have a very shallow dovetail on my jaws and then just square bar stock, but the jaw exceeds over the top of the bar stock. So the jaw is actually touching the top of the bar stock and trying to push it down. Because then if you want to try and rip it out, you're fighting. It's not just friction. It's a bit of actual mechanical force you're having to fight.
Yeah.
But we'll see how that
works. It's like the way Lang does it. They're saying don't clamp it hard, stamp it, make the indentation, and then grip it loosely but securely, and don't put the force into the part, which I think it is a good way of doing things. It's just expensive.
I love my little self-centering vices. Those things chop into the material and holds it super rigidly.
100%, yeah. In aluminium and sort of mild steels and stuff like that, you just there's no need for you to go straight in as a gripper, and just grip straight in. That's what I've got. Standard jaws are big grippers on my vices, so
your vice jaws look really spiffy. Kurt's like, I just hold it in a grinding vice.
Well, my stuff is all tiny. I can hold it with my fingers. Like I don't need clamping force, but it's so interesting to like understand other people's problems. And
yeah. Well, I redid the way I do the piston and the backer for the anchor point. I put them onto pallets because I can't hold them in a vise because they flex and then they chatter and it becomes a whole thing. So like the backer plates, I put 3 threaded holes in that are on the underside. No one's ever going to see them. And it locates on the bolt holes, and then I bolt from the back using the knife maker method through the pallet. Because then it's super rigid.
I was doing the same fixture like that the other day. Yeah, it's a good way of doing things for flatness.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No, it works really, really well. And with pallets being cheap, I actually am running low on pallets. I need to actually pack them and do a stock take tomorrow, because we've got the last 5 of batch 1 are up for sale, and I want to make sure that I have enough blank pallets to go with them.
Absolutely.
Some people I think we limited it now to only 6 blank pallets with your starter kit.
Only 6.
Only 6, because then the package becomes just over 10 kilograms and fits in a stock box 3 double wall. So it's designed to pack around the specifics of our shipping things. Also, no one paid import duties, which was quite exciting.
Nice.
Don't know how long that's
stayed under the $800 amount.
Well, apparently that was going away, but apparently it didn't.
Right.
Like everyone's parcels just pitched up.
Take that as a win.
Yeah, 100%. Like I'm just concerned that we spouting this and then the next batch got and hey, sorry guys, you got to pay import duties. But yeah, not really.
Listen, even if they have to pay import duties, it's cheap. It's really affordable. It's still a good price, you know. So
exactly. Like, the shout out in that episode of Taps and Patience was quite entertaining. The AJ at the end. And then I went and posted on their Discord. I posted a picture of the new version because he's got the beta version, same as Curt. And I posted a picture of the production version. It looks so much better.
The production version is much nicer. It looks less prototypey, if you know what I mean. Although that did look like a finished product still. It just looks that much sort of fancier.
100%.
You know what I mean? Just that shape that you put on the outside. It just looks.
It looks sexy.
Right. It looks right. No, it's really nice.
I'm waiting for a hard case to arrive for my demo unit so I can go around to the local machine tool guys and say, hey, check my demo unit. But yeah, when they said
it's a good thing to be able to demonstrate with your slide valve and pop
100%.
That's a good little demo that is.
Yeah, so I've actually got the first production version. It came off my machine. It's going to be the demo unit that I carry around. So yeah, I'm going to go door-to-door salesmaning that to all the machine tool guys. Actually had a guy here last week, and we're just going, he repairs CNC machines locally, and he's like, no, he's got a couple customers in mind that this would work for, but the vast majority of the guys, it's put vast, put big part machine. They're not interested in small parts. That's not what they do. Like, we are in quite a niche in South Africa with the size work we do.
Here, I find people doing smaller components here. They're doing it on a bar fed lathe with live tooling, or a slide, or a B-axis head machine. You know, really expensive machines, but they're just doing a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it makes sense for that kind of work.
Do you know what I mean? Instead of doing the palletized work holding sort of thing, they're doing it bar fed sort of lathe milling, as it were.
Those machines are silly expensive.
Hmm.
Like,
no,
go ahead, Kurt.
I'd say we all want Willemans. I mean, that's
absolutely.
That's exactly what I want for that reason alone. Just load a bar in and make whatever part you want. Like, because it's that easy. Of course, it's that easy. Like,
press the green button, walk away.
Right. Green button, walk away. Come back in 12 hours and collect parts and keep going. Yeah. So where do you're doing what you're doing now? Where do you see yourself in the next year or 2 years or 6 months or whatever timeline works for you? Like, are you happy with the way you're going, or do you want to move into different avenues?
It's taken way longer than I wanted to get the firm vices out there. But I mean, I did I improved the design slightly, added a couple of features. I did let Design Creep get hold of me. As I made the production versions, I basically went with the two-piece jaw design. I was just joining the jaw carrier to the jaw tops with just bolted on with two dowel pins, very simple, similar to like a fifth axis vise, or like a Zin. I don't know if the Zindan vices are like that, but just pin and bolts, simple as you like. But that didn't give me a way to actually pull the dovetail up, so that's incorporated a dovetail into the jaw system as well, which then makes it quick change jaws. So loosen 2 screws on the back and you can change the jaw tops, but those jaw tops themselves have a dovetail that like a pull down dovetail, similar to like a Curt style vice or anything like that. That pulls, so you've got pull down force of pulling the jaw down, but it's also pulling the jaw carriers up into the dovetail. So you're basically negating jaw lift as much as you can by clamping as it clamps this way, it's also pulling down this way. Just it's all working the way you want it to, and that's why I keep my vice jaws quite short as well, because the taller that you make them, you're just sort of, the only way you get jaw lift then is it's actually springing back rather than sort of lifting up, if that makes sense.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, in a year from now, I'd really like to be, I'd love to the ratio to be, I'm doing 50% job shop, 50% firm vice. I'd love that to be the case, but we'll see how we get on. But yeah, I'd like to, like to be doing what I'm doing, keep going, be more busy. Definitely like to have a more consistent flow of work, because that has been always been the hardest thing. But yeah, that's it really.
Yeah, nice. I mean, it's kind of, it's always it's a toss up between, like, I think the people that are doing a lot of prototype work want to do their own products, and then people that are doing products, like, I think not the grass is always greener, but I mean, the nice thing about doing your own product is you get to kind of stipulate your timelines a little bit better as opposed to job shop land.
Yes.
But in that instance, job shop land might pay better in certain instances. And I mean, if you have the work, you don't have to design the work. The work comes to you. But yeah, I don't know. I could see both things being attractive.
Yeah, I mean, the ideal scenario was, what I was thinking with the business was, I could do the job shop work. Okay, that gets quiet, brilliant. We're just gonna run more firm vice components now while it's quiet, while we find some more work or more comes in. Right. And then you can either shelve it or whatever, you can set whatever you can do, and then eventually that takes over, and that's 100% of the business. That's what I really want. But yeah, we shall see.
Yeah. That's cool. For your pallet changing machine, like you said, it has 2 pallets in there. Is it like, are you able to, like, can you put more pallets in the pool, or are they just like
No,
large enough that they're
it's just a twin pallet horizontal. So you've got the machining area here with a tombstone
Right.
here, and they're both sitting on an arm actually. So there's one here, and it literally just lifts up, spins 180, drops down. So yeah, it's not like it's bringing it from a pallet pool or anything like that.
Right, but like, would you or could you offline? Like, could you have extra, let's say, tombstones
100%,
built
yeah,
on these? Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
That's what I want to do. I'd like to, so at the moment you have a pallet base and then a tombstone bolts on top of that. What I'd really like to do is have a 0 point on that base, and then build smaller tombstones that go on top of that. And then that's the way. That'd be the way to do things. Then you can put in some bigger tombstones back on for bigger parts. But because of the travels of the machine, it's a 200mm tombstone machine. And I noticed that you lose a lot of the Z travel by the size of the tombstone. So it's got some 200mm ones on there at the moment. I'd like to do some 100mm or 125mm, because then by the time you've got a firm base on there, you've got more room to play. Basically, you can then put pallets on top of that, etc., or jaws, taller jaws, whatever you need.
Right. Nice.
Yeah, those two pallet machines are not super common, especially in BT30.
No, it's a really rare. It's a weird setup. It's got spindles here. It's got it's the fastest tool change I've got in the workshop as well. It's very fast, 2-second tool change, magazine style, and then the tool changer is a chain. So this rotates around like this, and then they come round, then they flip down, and then it swings it round. But it also puts them anywhere, like a random position tool changer. But it's quick when the chain spins round. You hear it go. But yeah, 30 tools, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's a decent number. Your firm base. There's not much information on your website about it.
I know. To be honest, I need to update everything. I need to really get some product photos on there, which is why I'm waiting for the black oxide, but or whatever coating I go with. But yeah, stay tuned. That will all be coming soon, and I'll really, I'll really start pushing it then, and start selling them from stock, as it were.
Okay.
Yeah,
and those
I need a bit more time.
So you've built the firm bases already. I'm assuming it's something along the lines of a Lang base or something to that effect.
So so the firm vise itself can load a pallet on top. So I spoke about the dovetail that engages on the jaws. Basically, you pull your jaws off, then in the center there's two locating holes, and then you'll drop your pallet on, which has got dovetail features in it. So I've done it so you can either machine dovetails in, or I've got some components. Call them haven't got any to hand, but they're behind me there. But dove wedge, which you can machine a blank pallet with just a pocket, 3 holes, and then 3 tapped holes, and then you bolt this in, and then this will be it's a hardened steel dovetail that goes against the jaw carriers. But basically, you can whip the jaw straight off, put a pallet straight on to the base itself. Yeah.
Okay.
That is sort of how the product has changed from the initial launch of trying to do a separate 0 point base, 96mm style, which I have made and designed, but I just think I can't add anything there, to be honest with you. So I don't think there's any point in really doing one. Whereas on the vices, I think there's a bit more to be added.
Yeah, multi-purpose base effectively. So you got your vice.
Absolutely, but the main thing is just being able to use hard jaws and then soft jaws. Like in a job shop, if you're doing stuff all day long, like you know what it's like, you want to be able to put jaws on. A lot of stuff I do is soft, op 1 hard jaws, flip it round in soft jaws, and that's done. That's an easy, consistent way of doing things. Like I could normally do an op 2 with like parallels and a stop and like. And I've got to, figure out what parallel height I need or whatever. Or you could just whack it into soft jaws and off you go. And, if you've got your template and infusion set up nicely, you can do it fairly quickly. I mean, it's like you were talking about, I don't know if it was the last episode, about dropping in your modelled component of your where your clamps are going. and
of the mighty
and
bites, and then you just
yeah, you might
reading
bites.
it out, and
It's
there you
things
go.
like that. It just removes the pain of doing it. So it means you can do it quickly, and it means like maybe I might make a pallet for a 20 off, where I wasn't. Or, sorry, not a pallet, soft jaws for a 5 off or a low quantity. I'll do it because it's easier, and I know I'm going to get a consistent process. Whereas sometimes you try do it like second up in hard jaws or whatever. It's a rickety setup, and you end up scrapping it, starting again, end up doing the soft jaws anyway. So you may as well just just go for it.
Yeah, I was actually had to recut my. So I don't own parallel. Well, let me rephrase it. I own parallel, singular. I generally clamp something between my aluminium jaws, and then I just machine a ledge onto my jaw.
Me too. To be honest with you, I hate parallels. Absolutely hate.
So I was making a sample for a Smith & Wesson +2 shoe last week, and I machined the jaw that I could see the step, and then the one that was towards me, I dropped the profile by like 1.5 millimeters, the depth of the ledge, but I didn't touch the wall all the way. I'd left like the stupid little 0.3 of a millimeter step. My part I didn't pick it up because I've dropped the part in, and it's got a giant chamfer, like a 2.5 mil chamfer. So I tightened it. I did what I needed to do. It was fine. Went to put something else in, and I'm like, why is this thing at an angle? Drop it down. Why is there a gap? So I recut it today, making another Smith & Wesson base because, obviously, making samples for guys. But everything I do is in an aluminium soft jaw or my hard jaws. And currently my vices are lined up. So tomorrow morning I am designing some stuff that requires my vices to be lined up before I break that setup down.
Because it's always the juggling act, isn't it? Right, this job's coming up, or this job might be not actually next in the queue, but this setup's here, so I'm doing it next.
100%. So I've got my two vices are aligned. If I put the hard jaws in, they are aligned to each other, and I've got to do two 400 by 150 plates for a lathe conversion. It's a little bolt-on unit that you bolt onto the way of the lathe, and then you've got a 2-axis CNC lathe using the existing spindle.
Nice.
So the idea is to convert a manual lathe to CNC for a guy to get into CNC without having to buy a big ass lathe. Yeah, although he's gonna probably buy Bertha from me when I sell Bertha.
Well, awesome. Should we
let's do the shout out.
Shout out all the lovely say all the lovely people that make this thing go.
Firstly, I was told categorically by our producer to tell everybody that the shirts that are currently on the website will only be there till the end of the month, and then the new designs are dropping. If you follow my Instagram stories, you may get to see the new designs ahead of time because I'm going to be getting some of those, including the the face mill shirt, although I think that might be up there already, and the Chip Fans shirt because we like to confuse people. But yeah, there are a bunch of shirts. You asked me to please shout that out. The shirts are available either through the podcast website, which is the lonemachinists.com. That will, if you go look at the merch there, it'll put you through to jspeceng.com. Our online store there is where all the podcast shirt things are hosted. And then to shout out our lovely Patreons. We're going to shout out our top tier Patreon, well, top and second to top tier Patreons, Jade from Benchmark 20 and Fabtastic. Danica said she did message Fabtastic to find out if he wanted any more information, and he hasn't responded, so Fabtastic it is. And we also got another Patreon this week, new member, and that would be, sorry, I'm being super, I feel like I'm channeling my inner AJ right now. That would be Jacob, who joined the Patreon this week. Might have been last week. But anyway, close enough.
Thank you kindly.
Yes. Yeah. So.
Should we do the Googling?
No, more important.
You go ahead, Jamie.
How old is the Iron Lung? I know we've discussed this, but I've forgotten.
Oh my, 80-ish, somewhere in the 80s.
Somewhere in the 80s.
Yeah.
Damn it. Okay.
Yeah.
Emco's 89.
I can't. Oh yeah, I think it's a little bit older than that. It might even be late 70s.
Oh wow.
I can't quite remember. She's ancient. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The Emco actually shoved the servo drive into the cabinet today. Took a grinder to the bottom of the cabinet so the wires could stick out and shoved it all in the little electrical cabinet. So it's no longer a servo drive sitting on top of the electrical box.
Nice.
So is your MCO the same MCO that Titan is peddling now?
It is the same brand. It is actually the same brand.
Interesting.
Yeah, they've been around
I've
forever.
only ever
Mine
seen
was
them
built
doing,
in
like,
Austria.
smaller machines. I didn't know they did big boy stuff like they seem to.
Yeah, no, neither did I. I wasn't aware they did giant stuff. I know they did all the smaller stuff back in the 80s and 90s. Yeah. But yeah, the whole Titan story is quite entertaining.
Yeah. Especially did you catch the latest with Intolerance?
Yes, I did.
Yes.
With Zap, and they got a little bit into it, which is just kind of cool. So always nice hearing other people's perspectives. And
I love hearing Zap go off. And to be fair, Dylan was going off as well.
I know, that was a good one.
I was like, go on, Dylan. That's it. He's in dad mode now. That's it.
He's more rage, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. He's got the dad rage already.
Yeah, the whole Titan story is, a tad controversial there. But yeah, you had two of the guys leave there recently, which is interesting.
Yeah,
I've heard rumblings of that. Yeah. I wonder if that is a start of more things to come, and maybe at the beginning of the end. I don't know, but my opinion is someone's doing, at least he's doing something that is like fair. You know, I know it's like viral and it is clickbait, and it's almost misrepresenting what the industry actually is, but it's to get people in. That's the whole point.
Well, that's how you get in front of people these days, is by being like that, which is unfortunate.
Well, and at least he's like, it is clickbaity, it is sensationally, it is like you're not going to do what he does, but it's getting over that like image of a greasy, dark, dank machine shop where it's like, no, there's like really high-end equipment, like it can be incredibly clean, it can be very like high tech. It's not like oil cans and old lathes or janky old Bridgeports.
That was
it's a totally different world.
Something very interesting. I don't know which episode of Taps and Patience it was. I don't know if it was the latest one that's released now or the one that I've got early access to. Harrison toured a bunch of shops in his area, and he's like,
it was interesting hearing what he said, that they're basically not that
like
great
dingy
compared to what he dingy, and we all know the type of machine shop he's talking about. I've worked in one personally, but
I worked in one. I know people who work in them.
Yeah, so it was interesting. I mean, him having a 5-axis seems to be really advanced for his area by the sound of it, but it's interesting to
wait
see.
Until you... So you guys know of the glass cannon that is his Doosan? Wait until the next episode.
Oh dear.
Oh no.
He may have killed his third spindle.
Oh no.
Yeah, so he replaced the one a while back that exploded.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, I heard. So I thought it was. When you say third, I thought it was only on number 2.
No. 2 weeks after that, they replaced that spindle. Same thing happened, and he broke. So this time the spindle deserves to die. Like he broke a 1/2-inch rougher, and then he didn't have tool break to take because they've never broken that tool. He then proceeded to break like 6 more tools into the job.
Oh no!
So it was interesting to listen to. Like episode 116 is going to be a good episode.
Man, I'll tell you though, I've crashed. I've done some crashes. I've witnessed some crashes, and I've only ever seen one spindle destroyed, and that was the most expensive spindle of all. I told that story with Intolerance, but that should not be breaking like that.
No,
I mean,
it shouldn't.
You should be able to slam a tool holder into the side of a part, into a vise. It's not great, but it should be able to cut parts still after that. Like, you might start to see some bad finishes down the road, but they should survive more than that.
Yeah, no, that's. But I don't know if you guys saw my stories today. I had my machine. Well, actually, you wouldn't have seen that the whole way cover system was open. It was. It was on the list of shit to do because just annually I want to pull that back and make sure there's not chips building up and stuff, and mushroom-looking fungus crap growing from my old coolant. I pulled back the way covers and there's white shit that looked like mushrooms. So I grabbed the vacuum cleaner, I just vacuumed it up and cleaned everything out. But that old coolant reacted with the whey oil and would make like a white waxy buildup.
Yeah.
So I kind of knew I might have to do this. But yeah, ended up hitting my tool setter while I was in there. So 40 minutes of stuffing around with the tool setter that I accidentally melted a while ago, but it seems to be working again. But I think I'm buying
still
one.
going.
I think I'm gonna buy a China special on one of those because they're not expensive. Although actually, my imperializer is not going to be right now because the dollar is busy falling through its arse. It's like $200 for a 5-way tool setter.
That's so inexpensive.
Yeah, that's including.
Do you need the diameter, or do you?
No, but
just,
I don't know how to calibrate the position without being able to measure the diameter. I assume it's just a change in one of the parameters, but I currently have a 5-way, so I'm just going to put a 5-way in anyway.
Fair play, yeah, because I've got a 2-way, just a cheap.
I had one of those.
Put onto the right.
Yeah, I had 2 of those. They're not exactly waterproof.
No.
They would get coolant in after about 8 months, and then I replaced it, and then I got given this TS27R that was broken. I proceeded to unbreak it, and then it was running for a while, and then I proceeded to melt it. So then I ground out the pogo pin and Jamie-ified it, and it's working, but just a little bit annoying when you hit it with a cover that you shouldn't have to take off. But there's one, the cover's got notches out of it for 3 of the 4 screws. So three of the 4 screws are cap screws, and 1 is a button head. And the button head doesn't have a cutout, so I had to take the stupid cover off. It was a little bit infuriating. But yeah, I got the machine cleaned out today, and then still trying to figure out why I don't have air through my spindle. Like, I can't figure out what's going on there. No, I can see where the little thingy is contacting. I know there's air coming through there. It's just not going through the actual spindle, and I don't want to pull the spindle out.
Was that the purge, the bearing purge, or is that?
No, the bearing purge was.
Can't tool change.
It's the taper purge.
Sorry, that's what I mean. Sorry,
So
purge through the spindle, right.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, the air is getting to the coupling. It's just not going through the spindle.
Right.
Yeah, so I need to still figure out. I'll just go buy some tins of tool in a can and spray that thing fucked up till it works again. It's like WD-40. Does it move or doesn't it move? Is it supposed to move? Yes, but WD-40. Like, literally just throw a whole can at it. But it looks like the oiler on the air system. Yeah, there we go.
That's a big boy can.
That's right, baby. He's talking to the right man.
It looks like the oiler on the air system isn't working. And the oiler only leads to that one system. So I think the oiler's been dead, well, at least for a year and a bit since I've had the machine, because it still has the same amount of oil as when I got it. So I was messing around with it today. I'm going to have to pull it off and see what the hell's going on. And try.
I've recently been doing oil lines on the on my big mill. The cable chain had disintegrated, and it's a cable chain with just this oil line that goes from the y-axis to the x-axis manifold for the whey loop, and that had sheared off. Where the chain had disintegrated, the thing had got caught in the axes. I've been running dry for I don't know how long actually, but
well, that was one of the reasons for me to pull my whey covers back, because about a year ago, when I got the machine, there was an oil line coming out the front. Like, it really didn't look OEM, and then that broke and started leaking oil everywhere. And I think that might be part of the reason that I had such a fungus-looking growth inside the machine. So when I replaced that about a year ago with a 4mm line with that spring stuff over it, and that's why I was in there as well, just to make sure that's all still good, and it's all still good. Like, I don't want my machine failing unnecessarily.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, cool.
Anything?
Kurt, what's been going on with your week? We haven't heard from what's been going on with you. What have you been up to?
Yeah, what have you been up to, Kurt?
Just production, fixing shit, and yelling at people, and nothing too
Sounds like
horribly
a week
entertaining.
in a machine shop. Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's kind of the standard jig. Yeah, I got all those very inexpensive tools coming. They should actually. I think I just keep getting notifications that they're delivered. So that'd be nice to mess around with those and see how they compare to the rather spendy ones I've been playing with. And yeah,
Is that
kind
more
of
heat
move on
shrink
from there.
tooling? Is it more holders?
These are those DC holders that and everybody I've talked to, they're kind of like a collet holders, long nose, and they have like a little itty bitty collet at the end, and you tighten them from the back, so you kind of disassemble the entire tool.
I've seen those. Yes, yeah.
Everyone I've talked to, they're insane. They're like, I've seen like less than a tenth run out on mine. So I was like, okay,
have they got the SK collets that's got a different taper angle on them? Is that
DC?
Yeah,
DC
taper, but
yeah. So that,
super shallow taper.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm curious. I mean, they were cheap enough that if they don't work, like me and Jamie were saying, to throw drills in them and not worry about it. But if they do work, that'd be slick because I don't need the rigidity for 90% of my stuff. So kind of excited to play with those. Yeah.
I actually posted the guys. Someone got an ER11 collet on the Taps and Patience Discord, and then I got so cute. Mm-hmm. So this morning I went on and posted a picture of an ER8 next to an ER11. ER8 takes an ER11 at the ring, at the retaining ring. It takes it there. It's big inside. And it can take up to
ER8 go up to 1 millimeter or something.
No, it goes up to 1/8.
Wow, okay. Up to
up to 1/8. Yeah, I got two of them with spindle, little 100-watt spindles I bought a while ago.
Right, yeah.
Josh, did you see Curt's post just before we went live on Instagram?
I did not.
You need to quickly go look at it because we need to discuss the stupidness that is that pneumatic cylinder.
Oh, I'll fill you in. It's nothing special. It's just
it's really dark.
It seems like on the I think it's an intelligent way to do it for a low cost. Yeah.
Well, the thing is,
just for the
that
the brake for the fourth axis. Yeah, they wanted a way obviously to sense if the brake is turned on or off. Besides just driving the solenoid, like you drive the solenoid, you turn it on, but you don't have physical back feed of like it did indeed turn on. Yes. So instead of trying to like weasel a sensor in where the actual like pneumatic piston brake mechanism is, all they did is they put an inline cylinder outside of the fourth, like kind of where the stepper motor mounts or the servo mounts. And it's just a little itty bitty piston that goes back and forth.
That little piston I can see moving in and out.
Yeah, I was like, I'm on, I'm
off.
Yeah, I'm like, what the hell are you here for? And I'm like, and then they put two sensors on it, and I'm like, oh, you're the feedback. So when air is put, it knows that if that piston moves, there's a high likelihood that the internal one did as well. So I'm like, oh, that's a clever way to. I mean, you probably, shaved off a ton of money to produce it that way, but it's just like clever little. I love that stupid, like dumb little engineering when you're trying to get to a cost. It's just
it's a really clever way to do it because you know that there's air on the device because it has actuated. But yeah, just a very clever. Yeah, it's a clever integration or implementation.
Yeah, it's not stupid if it works, is it?
Right. Well, yeah. And it made replacing the sensor way easier. Like if I would have had to tear into like where the worm drives were and like into the that would have been a nightmare. But this one is like, oh, it's right here. Boop, boop.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how your fourth is going to go now.
I think it'd be very happy. I think it'd be much happier now that I realize I didn't just. Once I took away all the things that I messed up, I think it'll work better. So
all the things you optimized.
So have you not been able to run the fourth much on the Soul then? Or?
I've been able to run it just fine, but I took when I was altering my post, I turned off tool center point because for most of my stuff I don't need to do like TCP kind of work on the fourth. And but by doing that, I also killed all of the synchronization code that it runs. So it was doing fourth axis synchronization, but not smoothly. It was very, very jerky. And now that I put those back in there like they should have been, because if someone knew what they were doing with the post, they wouldn't have done this. And now it's like glass smooth again. So it's like, oh, okay. So that's the other way. Problem.
You have to start getting into inverse time feed rates and stuff like that. So it's normally just trying to feed too fast as it gets through or
right.
Settings.
Yeah.
Like that.
Exactly. It's balancing inverse time of the rotary with the inches per minute of the other linear axes, and then doing them all so they're all uniform, so you don't get jerky motion, which kind of makes sense. But yeah, I had no idea what I was doing wrong until I realized what I was doing wrong, which was cool because it was actually an Instagram person that was messing around with an AI, like they were actually using Claude. They just put my story in and I took some screen grabs of it, and he messaged me back. He's like, "Have you tried these things?" I'm like, "That's actually super helpful," and it ended up leading
That's
me down the
brilliant.
path. But we live in a wild world, like
I
a
love
world
that.
like he
Both.
was.
I love
Yeah,
two parts of that. One is that someone on Instagram helped you, because I've had a lot of help through Instagram DMs that have sort of pointed me in the right direction, or literally told me some really specific info that I've been like, "There's no way I would have found someone to tell me that here.
totally,
There's no way." No,
totally.
that's good. I
Yeah,
forgot what my second point was though.
yeah. Well, yeah, and shout out to Hogtown Pens. I don't know if he follows this, but you go check out his stuff. But yeah, he's like, he's not familiar with the Siemens control at all. And he's like, dude, he's like, I don't know if this helps you or if this is just gobbledygook. And I was like, no, dude, like, you don't, like, that actually helped. And it took, yeah, just, it's a wild world. It's a wild
Yeah, I'm
world.
sorry. That was my second point. Using ChatGPT to troubleshoot machining is a sort of a secret. Well, not secret. But it's like a little hidden power that I've been using lately, because it does. It can read all the manuals that you're using. It can.
Mm-hmm.
It just knows everything. It knows more than me, than the subject I'm trying to figure out. So it can find forum posts. It can literally do. I've been
Right.
using it to give me. Literally, I'm like, right, give me some instructions on what to do next, and it'll break it down. I mean, that was the only way I was able to get the parameters loaded back into that twin pallet horizontal. Was I said to ChatGPT, find the manual, find any forum posts, and give me instructions on how to set the RS-232, and I want step by step with a like breakdown, and it gave me it, and I printed it out, and off we went.
That's wild. That is so cool.
Yeah. I know Zap was saying with Google's notebook LM, he pushed a whole lot of manuals and then told it generate it as a podcast. So he's got this podcast. Have you heard about this G50? And he's cracking because it's trying to make this technical content sound like a podcast. But yeah, that's like Danica put something in there the other day, and it's like, it's an interesting way to take in information, because a lot of us listen to a hell of a lot of podcasts and we're used to that format.
Right.
So it's a very interesting way to take in information. And those ones don't
that's a good idea.
hallucinate
I see what you're saying.
because they don't hallucinate because they don't look at the internet. They look at what you've given them only. So if you give it all the manuals, that's the only context it has. It's not going to go and find some random crap on the internet. But yeah, I've got a funny story about my Google speaker for the after show.
Cool.
Because I walk into my workshop and say, well, I'm not going to say the command word, but it's enable Ironman mode, and my lights turn on. And when I leave, I disable Ironman mode, and my lights turn off. It's the small things in life that bring you great joy.
Nice.
Yeah, it's it didn't confirm it was. Yeah, we'll get into it in the after show because it was a little bit funny, and that will be a hook to the after show. So, what have you guys been Googling this week?
You go ahead, Josh. If
I'll
you
go.
have
Mine's
interesting
quick.
things.
I've already said mine. Basically, I've been googling black oxide plating, nickel plating, DLC coating.
Oh yeah.
What about
all kinds of plating, parkerization, obviously cold blue. I've been asking ChatGPT to give me a breakdown of a hot caustic, doing a hot black oxide setup myself. And that is sort of really it. But yeah, and I haven't really got any good answers from that one yet still, so besides black oxide. So
what about a PVD or one of those? Like a tool coating type.
I think that's what the DLC option was a diamond like
similar
coating.
Because you could go TIN or one of the tooling coatings as well. I just don't know what the cost
exactly. That's literally exactly. And but I just don't know. I don't know enough about it to be honest with you.
Okay. Interesting. Curt, what have you been Googling?
I've been Googling stuff that you actually told me to Google. I've been looking at the those little Arduino
PLCs,
like the industrial hardened PLCs.
They
the
don't have
Arduino Pro
digital
Opta
outputs.
and stuff.
It's really annoying. Like they have digital outputs,
they're
relays,
super cool.
but not actual digital outputs that I can drive a stepper with.
Gotcha.
Yeah, very annoying.
Yeah, they're kind of interesting applications. So I kind of been reading a little bit into those, and then I was weirdly enough looking at actually listening to the With Intolerance podcast, looking at different podcasting host solutions because there's some that do on the fly. Like this one does obviously local backups and then an upload, but there's one, I think it's Squadcast,
Yeah.
and it does it records locally, but it also does sequential uploading, so you don't have to wait at the end for a big
Oh,
upload.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I just
Because as far as I know,
that's
this
going to be
one
interesting
is
to like
doing
nobody.
sequential
But
upload. Um,
oh, is it okay?
yeah, I'm watching my thing, and it looks like it is doing sequential upload.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, my
So
cloud
it's just
backup
the
is definitely
last
saying,
little
yeah,
bits that it syncs. Yeah.
right.
Yeah, because
Anyways,
we now
and
on
yeah,
the
and then
on the fancy Zencaster where we can actually maybe get video podcast out. So we will see.
yeah,
We'll know
you
tomorrow.
just got to pedal faster for your internet.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The internet story is a little bit sore, but yeah.
How about you? What's in your browsing
Wordle,
history, Jamie, that you can
Wordle,
talk about?
39.
Getting there.
Yeah, Rand Dollar, watching it fall through its arse.
Right
My
on.
ISP, because my phone had internet and my internet didn't have internet. And then looking up time zones because reasons. Look, Rand Dollar again. And then looking up competitors' pallet systems, how much their hardware costs per pallet. Oh, and a pH chart because
Expensive.
my pH, yeah, very. My pH meter is shot and it's causing me to get incorrect colors in my anode setup. Yeah, which is a little. I think I've now nailed down why my colors are so inconsistent. My pH meter is drunk. If I put it deeper in the water, I get a different reading, or in the dye, I get a different reading to if it's at the surface. And I've just stirred it, so that shouldn't be the case. And if your dye pH is off,
Do you plan to continue to do the anodizing long term?
Unfortunately, for now, yes.
Outsourced a bit, or
so I'm gonna some of the stuff I do, I'm gonna outsource more of, just because consistency. Also, financially, I'm now at a point where I can afford to make 150 mag bases and send them out for anodize. Whereas when I started doing them, there was no way in hell I was going to be able to afford that. Like, Danica and I were discussing it today. She was busy packing an order of 16 mag bases. And I'm like, these haven't had a price increase because they used to take me 16 minutes. They take me under 6 minutes now. Like, we just have a much better machine. We have better processors. So we don't actually need to put the price up. If we put the price up, we're probably not going to sell more. Or we're not going to sell any because we're going to price ourselves out. So rather we just leave it as it is. We only move about 100 of them a year. Maybe 150 a year. So I don't try to sell them. Like, there's one customer who buys the Glock CZ and ARs from me, and he just places an order every month or two, and it's extra money. Like, I don't go actively try to sell them because I don't like talking to people.
That's why we're all Lone Machinists.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I'm not a fan of selling things to people because you get paid. Everyone's like, oh no, I'll take a bunch, and then they just never place orders. Like the last gun shop I went to, the guys were super keen, gave them a card, and I have not heard from them. And I'm not going to waste my fuel driving back there now. But yeah.
Cool.
All right, cool. So,
well, yeah. Do you have anything you want to plug or say, Master Josh, there before we end?
Nothing to plug at the moment, really. Just soon we'll start plugging the firm biases as these ones get out to these very, very loyal early supporters. And then I just want to say thank you to you guys for doing the podcast, because listen, every week, and it is being a Lone Machinist, it's just nice hearing the ins and outs of other people's, especially being Canada, South Africa. It's cool. So yeah, keep it up, guys. Really appreciate it. So thank you for inviting me on.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. And if people want to find you on Instagram, you're what?
Firmworks, which is FIRMWORX _LTD on Instagram, or just www.firmworks.co.uk. Soon to be updated.
Yeah, exactly. When you have spare time, yeah.
Exactly.
So, Curt, where can people find you?
Confoundedmachine.com. Find all the weirdness and wares. I'm taking the lead on Jamie and should have some t-shirts up in the next couple weeks. They're all going to be pen related, not so much related to this podcast. We'll still have the stupid ones that Jamie will have on his store because it's more fun to have them over there. So how about you, Jamie? Where can people find your wares?
You can find us at jspeceng.com. There are still a few anchor points left at the time of recording. These are for batch 1. There's also the pre-order for batch 2. So if you guys can't get a batch 1 anchor point, get a spot for batch 2. That will be still targeting the end of the month for the release of batch 2. And yeah, a whole bunch. I think there was an update to the website this afternoon, a bit more information on the anchor point page, just to make it a bit more clear what it is and what it does, because apparently I wasn't clear enough. Yeah. Sweet.
Cool.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Please, if you did enjoy the show, consider sharing it with someone else who might enjoy it. You can find us on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. If you would like to give us a review or a thumbs up or a subscribe, please do. And until next time, have fun in the shop.
Take care, all.